Calling this meeting to order at 12:06 p.m. Roll call. You want to do roll call?
Carlos Blanco Jr.
Present.
Onyx Benavides.
Present.
Ricardo Solis.
Present.
Margarito Benavides. Edward Ochoa.
Present.
Reynaldo Vélez. Luis Ramirez.
Present.
You do have a quorum. Signers.
Okay. I need a motion to accept the minutes.
Do we have another agenda?
Yes.
Or they might be all paper clipped there. Are those
Oh, they're on
copies?
paper clip.
No,
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I don't have the agenda, I just have the minutes.
Oh, they're right here.
But no, this is the minutes from the last meeting.
This is the agenda, whoever needs the agenda.
Oh, this is
The agenda's the one that's signed.
Where's
Okay, we'll get together. Everybody has minutes, the agenda?
Yeah, he provided the minutes.
There's the agenda right
Oh,
there.
it's right here?
Yeah, it's right there.
Do we have
Motion to approve the minutes.
okay, motion, second? Who's second?
I'll second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against say nay. Motion passes. Communications, Mr. Garcia.
Communications, let's see. We had a council meeting this past week, I guess. I was not able to report on the things that they had requested. I know we're getting ready to go into stage, we're close to getting to stage 3 where reservoir is at 24%. So once we reach 20%, we're required to be in stage 3, which will be once a week watering for irrigation systems. So we're trying to prepare for that. And also, just to let everyone know, we're going to be doing some PSAs regarding free chlorine conversion, which will be starting March 4th. So for 30 days, we'll be on free chlorine. And just so that you can let your council members know, let them know that that's coming. I was going to announce it at the council meeting, but again, I was not able to report that.
March 4th.
March 4th, yes. Those are all the communications that we have for you.
Okay, now, when you say the reservoir, what are you talking about?
Amistad, when it reaches, they report the capacity.
Is it that far down?
I know the issue that they're having, there's fissures inside.
Oh, yeah.
Amistad.
Remember I talked about,
So those are what, there's loss that's occurring, and then the evaporation with
Yeah.
the dryness that we have and the heat. So then come this
But
summer.
I know where there was water, not at full pool, but I remember blocking it at 185 feet deep. So 20%. Jesus Christ, that blew up over.
And then Falcon Reservoir was at around 15, I believe.
17 yesterday.
17
I don't know about today.
No, I just, the lowest number I've seen, Falcon was at about 15.
I remember
But it's gone up.
probably, an eon ago, probably about 20 some odd years ago, you could run the river all the way to the dam, and the compuertas were out of water. And basically the fishing area was right there by the state park. So it's just the river. Way down.
But I believe this summer we'll be in stage 3. Because we're dropping about 0.1% every day. Some days we'll drop 0.2.
Yeah, in summer, you can watch the level on Falcon, an inch a day. Inch a day, every day. That will tell me where the fish were at. All right, anything else, sir?
No, that's it for communications.
Anybody else want to communicate anything besides? Nope. Okay.
I would like a word here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, let me see. Martinez, right?
Arturo Garcia.
Arturo Garcia, Mr. Garcia. Thank you on the communication, and I would like to just add to the board that I read a story yesterday on Yahoo, but I don't know who was the what media was the one that printed it, but it said January 2024 was one of our warmest. So, I don't know if you felt that or not, but I did feel that it really wasn't that cold. But that's here in Texas, could be different, but nationally it was one of the warmest, so I guess making plans and doing all this work that we do here for the community, I think is very important.
Regarding that warmest, last year they reported that last summer is gonna be the coolest summer.
Of our lives. That's scary.
That was last year,
This past year.
and then we had like 3 weeks of 150 degrees in June.
117 was the high.
122,
Where were you at?
Laredo, different section, 122.
Well, I was in Vegas when when that heat wave or that major blast hit in Texas and that dome,
Yeah.
I was in Vegas for 10 days. I'm not rich, okay, it was a package. Combination family package.
Just a big help.
Anyway, when I returned to Laredo, it was like,
Hotter here.
I got here at 4 a.m. when we returned from Vegas, got here at 4 a.m. and it was like 98 degrees.
We lost a lot of trees during the freeze, what was it, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
Yeah, February
And we
21.
lost a lot of trees this summer. I lost a pecan tree and I watered it. Well, my wife pays the water bills.
But it,
Yeah, I mean, it looked like we were in autumn because the leaves were turning brown and just falling. My whole yard was covered with leaves all the time. And you just couldn't pour enough water into them.
it's a dangerous heat.
Yeah, so.
I hope we don't have
Kill
one
the
like
damn
that.
squirrels, though.
Hope we don't have anything like that in another 10 or 20 years.
Well, may not have to worry about that part.
Exactly.
So this,
Yeah, it is
I yield.
definitely changing.
I yield.
It is definitely changing, and, as you said, this committee needs to have some teeth and help Mr. Garcia with whatever endeavors he has to get done, so I think we're all on board. That's why we continue coming here.
I want to say a few things. All right, so a couple questions. So when you said we're starting stage 3 conservation, when will that start? Are we in there now?
Well, once the Amistad reaches 20% is when my ordinance will require it. I will announce it to council and they may decide we need to start getting ready for it, get people used to watering their yards. To me, the idea is if this is upcoming summer, is gonna be very hot, is to get people used to watering, especially those that are in sprinkler systems, to run them only once a week. Hand watering is allowed, but, stage 3 requires only once a week if you have sprinkler system. So I know that's gonna cause a lot of heartache and headaches. And it's gonna require us to do a little more code enforcement. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Sheila here. She's our new water conservation person here in our department. And I guess Sheila, if you wanna give them a little bit of background about yourself and.
Sure. Well, I know Rick, used to work with his wife, yeah, I'm Sheila Sedma. I'm the new water conservation planner. I was previously at a environmental nonprofit, and a lot of my experience is sustainability and working on green infrastructure initiatives, air quality, but I also did a little bit of water quality and stormwater pollution at TCEQ, which is where I was previously.
That's where I know you.
Yeah.
Permits,
Yes, the burn permits. I always did burn
That's a long
permits.
time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yep. Right Ranch.
So I was always out in the field. I was doing oil and gas investigations, stormwater investigations, burn permits. So familiar with the environmental sector. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm just here to kind of just listening to your concerns. That way I can take it back to me, to the department and start working on some initiatives.
Very good, and welcome.
Thank you.
That's still having TCQ chief.
Well, now just change it to COA.
So I know 2 people in the room from TCEQ.
That's good that she has that background too, that she's worked on for you guys too, so.
No,
That's why
she's a
she's
great
there.
asset, that's why we hired her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
that's what
you,
I'm
I
saying.
Good.
appreciate that.
No assuming she knows. Hey, we're gonna people that assume, that's all they do. I'm like, nah, bro. I need you to know.
And then as far as the free chlorine burn, just so that everyone's aware, so the water's gonna smell like chlorine and everything,
Free chlorine.
Free chlorine.
right?
You're getting free
Just
chlorine.
don't get free chlorine.
You're getting free.
Fill up the pool.
All I can tell you about chlorine is that it's good for the teeth, because where I grew up in the little town of Big Wells, they chlorinated the water heavy. And I didn't have any cavities or anything else, or lose any teeth till I was, fishing or busted a tooth or whatever. So it does help with dental system, so I still have all my teeth.
So Arturo, why do we have to wait for 3? Can we do like, hey, now, like say level 2, you could do twice, so get them prepared when it's only once to start doing conservation now at this level?
Well, that's why I announced it to council, and they may decide at that moment that we go to stage 3.
You didn't get to talk at city council, because what's happening lately in city council is they bring up all their agenda items up first, and then
Yeah.
there's no time for the consent agenda.
Yeah, no, there was something we're waiting for like, that people wrote in, we didn't get to talk.
Yeah, everybody sits there and they move agenda items.
Yeah, because the agenda items are moved, there's no time to discuss.
How long is the free chlorine gonna last?
30 days.
So y'all are working on PSAs to do that already?
Yes, that was what I was gonna announce, because that was my opportunity to get it out into the public during the council
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay, so then this is where we come along and be like, hey, this is very important, you guys blew off Arturo, what are we gonna do? To talk to us?
Well, when do you plan on putting those PSAs out, I guess?
I already told Nolai she's already supposed to be working on it, so,
Okay.
but I kinda wanted to let council know and let them know, and in fact, I'm gonna send it through what's called their Friday packet, so
Yeah.
they know about it, so.
What would it take for a special call meeting to discuss these items instead of all their pet peeve projects?
Just let them know, make
That's
sure
it.
you take care of the.
I've heard that discussion as being them changing the way they do council meetings.
Well,
Where they do a
just
once
have
a
to
month
take care of city
items and
business
then-
first, and
yeah,
then
they're-
take care of the
something.
issues that you feel are gonna take time. You know, take care of all the, staff reports and make sure, and if you have issues that are gonna take longer than, say, 20 minutes?
I'm not sure.
An hour?
Yeah.
It's a matter of managing the meeting.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
a
think
meeting management.
Angie and I attended a TML meeting where they talked about how to make the flow of information move faster during a meeting. And that's, I think.
But unfortunately, the council members didn't go to that meeting with us.
Well.
So we're just like,
So you have the knowledge.
That's why I was like, I know how to manage your meeting.
The problem is, no one wants to be last on the agenda because their item's gonna be pushed till next meeting.
Yeah.
And so everybody keeps, and they keep moving.
And
yeah.
they keep moving items up even before public comments, and then you have people sitting there waiting to comment on something. I mean, it's unfortunate, you
That's
know.
a protocol, they're not following the protocol.
Yeah, But yeah, I think we've talked about PSAs for different things, so that's good to hear that. I think a free chlorine PSA is a good idea.
Yeah, we're gonna also post it in our water bill, when the bill goes out.
Yeah.
And then Noraida will be doing PSAs on social media.
We can advise our council members.
Yeah,
Yeah, let 'em
I
know.
think I'll probably email the councilman and just let them know,
And,
so they're worded.
I mean, they'll have a like
That's good.
page, so,
Huh?
they'll have their like page, so they can post it.
Okay. I think that's all I had. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
I still can't believe this on me stuff. Anyways, item 5, moving on, Understart Water Partnership.
I'll just update you on my ongoing work here. I am still reviewing that memorandum of understanding, and I've already made contact with Del Rio, and I sent the communication to Eagle Pass. So those are the 2 communities that I've been able to discuss or make communication with, and I'll be trying to find other entities, water supply corporations, or that have CCM within the section of, like I said, Amistad all the way to Alca. So I'm just trying to get them to develop a task force so we can start looking at solutions for alternate water sources and how to take care of the region. And that's the effect of that. That's all I have.
Do you, with this particular item, I know Councilmember King is sort of involved,
Yes.
correct? But has this been presented to all the other council members as well?
Well, it's been discussed, and I know I need to spend a little more effort, but, you know, I can only do so much. And I need to, in fact, staff is going to a conference, and I may ask them to go make contact with some of those individuals to, you know, develop that network, start setting up a meeting for these communities to be able to develop this task force to address. My thinking of this group is to be able to address water sources and conveyance. How are we gonna get this water to those regions? Say Eagle Pass is suffering. How do we get water to them? Or how do we get water to Laredo? How do we get water to Del Rio if something happens to their wells? You know, we want to be able to have a solution for the future.
Yeah.
And that's my thinking. I want them to start discussing, because everybody thinks, no, I'm gonna take my water. You gonna take my groundwater? No. We're trying to come up with a solution that can help the area, the region.
South Texas one.
So,
I think, you know, the conveyance to the city council is very important, because they're the ones that pass policy and everything else, right? We just suggest, the overall picture of what we've been talking for about, what, 6, 7 years that we've been here, and it doesn't come to fruition. I mean, we've seen water companies sitting here promising the world and everything else, and we just don't know how to use it or develop it, right? I mean, I think we have a better idea when you talk about more than one resource.
yes.
Versus back then, it was just one pipe and that's it. Because, who was talking about the climate, it's not getting any better. And I don't want the well, you're all too young, but 1952, 53, when we had a dust bowl here, I mean, there was no trees or grass or nothing. It was just wind blowing sand all over. It looked like a desert. I remember it well, and I was 6, 7 years old. But we're going back there. It's not like this is cyclical, okay?
Yeah.
This is cyclical. And what gets me is that we're so, how should I say the word is, we just don't see yesterday. We're just looking forward. Technology is supposed to solve everything, but technology is not rain. And we're not getting it. And there are certain areas that it's like a band that you get the moisture, and everywhere else is dry. I mean, but I don't know, we need to have some workshops with the city councilman. I know we can't have all of them at this meeting, or have a special meeting to discuss water. You know?
Well, I know that regarding that point, if I may, they do want to have a workshop on water conservation and secondary. So that's a point where, in fact, when the workshop is held, I would like for you all to attend.
Oh, definitely.
I think that'll help.
No,
I will let you know when that workshop is coming, because, like I
They have
said,
other workshops also, but
Yes.
they just added this council meeting for the Don Tomas Sanchez statue.
Oh,
So they're like, well, they want a workshop for that, a workshop for the water, a workshop for, you know, a lot of different things. They just have to find the time to all be able to be together, to have these
no, that's
workshops.
difficult. That's difficult.
so, but that's, to me, I want to set the vision of trying to come up with a solution for not just multiple sources and not just one area, not one region, because I know Eagle Pass had a memorandum of understanding, but it was more for that region where they wanted, I just felt it was too one-sided, and it would affect us from an operations standpoint, because they would control our destiny, and I don't want it that way. I want it as a group to be able to make decisions.
Mhm.
Because if somebody's just controlling it, it's gonna become a power grab, and that's what I saw.
And I'm glad you brought up that point, because I had a thought some time back, and like I said, buried in my brain. What happens if we get to a point where water to the valley is more important than water to Laredo? Can they stop our water rights? Can they stop us from pumping?
Not the way the rules are set up,
Okay.
because we have the right.
So they-
We're a municipal right too. They're a municipal right. I know right now the farmers in the valley are suffering because they can't irrigate. There's no watering irrigation for farming in the valley. Some of them canceled their crops because they cannot irrigate. Right now, the municipal rights are primary.
See, nobody knows that, except those that are in the store.
But what they need, the 1944 treaty from Mexico, they need to release water from the Rio.
Yeah, they owe us a bunch
Oh, yeah,
of
sure,
water
that,
for
I'm aware of, yeah.
So,
They want water.
those are the things that we need to get to our elected officials, like push, like Amistad, we need to take care of Amistad. We need to take care of that treaty, you know. Yeah, all these bridge crossings, why don't you tie in that, hey, you need to release water, because if you start hurting Laredo, the #1 port in the nation, land port, you're gonna affect our business, and there's no reason for those bridges. You gotta take care of the water too. Tie those presidential permits to the water.
Yeah.
Because that's done through the minute order. You're not changing the treaty, you're just doing a minute order.
It's crazy,
That's an
right?
interesting one.
Yeah.
But that's just food for thought. I didn't say.
No, but I mean, it has to be public knowledge, you know? When we say the politicians don't wanna fight, they don't wanna do nothing here, they don't wanna do nothing over there, you know, don't get me started. Anyways, yeah, we're, somehow or another, we gotta beat this horse till it has no hair left on it.
So on this Amistad Water Partnership, is it gonna be something, I mean, what do you envision, like I know like we have NPOs, right, for like, where like a bunch of people come together to talk about transportation issues. Is it gonna be something like that with a board and?
Yes, I envision it being like an NPO where we discuss regional projects where, how do we identify our water sources, ASRs, different ways to hold water in different regions to where they can deliver that. Because I think what's gonna be critical is how you move that water from one side of the watershed to us, or from us to other individuals. And it's the conveyance. And we would want, as a region, hey, state, help us out, help us fund these things. So that as a region, we're not hurting. Because we're critical to the nation as far as product coming across the border. You know, we allow the country to function. They get their goods. But because if we're hurting, it's gonna hurt that infrastructure.
Is this something that's gonna be brought up at the trip to?
Yes, that's what I'm pushing from a water standpoint, from a utility standpoint.
For the trip to Washington?
Yes, that's what, I'm bringing up Amistad, because I want Amistad to be on the front page. Because right now that the levels are done, is when we should be taking care of expanding capacity, because we only have 2 years of storage in Amistad. We want to increase that to at least 5. Because that cycle, that treaty cycle is 5 years. Okay.
We're moving on.
Yes.
Item 6, water conservation.
Water conservation.
Talking about that.
Okay. Just to let you, I guess we already introduced Sheila. She will be updating some of our ordinances, and that's something that we need to do this year, update our water conservation ordinance. And we are attending several workshops, trainings to make sure we're staying current. Some of the things that the state is promoting is how we control water conservation, enforcing it during these drought periods. We're also trying to make sure we get funding for some of the resiliency programs. One of the programs that I'm looking at is setting up these wells along the river so that if the river levels go down, we're able to get water from the underground to where it's still considered surface rights that we can use. So those are some of the things that I'm working on. So that's all I have. I don't know if there's anything else.
I would like to,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to floor a little bit here on water conservation. I don't know if you all remember back in the 80s, however this message is international. Mexico had a campaign in regards to water conservation. I don't know if you remember the commercial that said, "Ciérrale." Little kid would say, "Ciérrale," talking about the tap, save the water. I was thinking if our leadership could have public service announcements, like, I'm not throwing darts at any of our leaders, but per se, Henry Cuellar, Zaffirini, Richard Raymond, and the other two state representatives have public service announcements on TV, visual and audio, where they inform the public to conserve water. And, you know, it's very important. I know that they have a lot of work to do to begin with, but I feel that could be beneficial. However, I wanted to talk about this before the committee, because if the public were to see those type of announcements, would there be panic? I don't want them to panic either. So it was just something I was thinking about, that maybe our public officials inform the taxpayers that let's conserve water. Very important that they do that, so
A
they
double-edged sword, right?
Yeah, it
Conserve
is,
water.
because if you start screaming it, do you create panic?
That's what I'm afraid of, right? Maybe we can have, like, what they have, a pilot program to see how the public, like, when a TV program comes on, they have a pilot. I'm sure you're all aware of that. They'll show one show before a selected group, and that selected group says, yes, we'll run with it. Or the selected group will say, nah, not gonna work. So maybe it's something that Mr. Garcia can ask our city council if it would be beneficial to do something like, however, however, it doesn't have to be at a city council meeting. It could be, you know, within a phone call or a text message or an email or something like that.
Well, we could probably get Norida to do like a public service announcement, not necessarily like, because she also controls the social media one, but not necessarily saying already stage 3, but type of, how can we conserve water? You know, whenever you're brushing your teeth, turn off the water, you know, whenever, just little things that will not send panic to the public, that, you know, it's, don't correlate it with the levels in the river, but necessarily just educate the public, you know?
Wasn't there something sometime back where said learn to conserve? That's
We
big.
had some stickers at some point, you
Yeah,
know?
learn to
Yeah,
conserve.
we need to do our little giveaways,
The promotion.
promotional items. We need to start showing, be wise, you know, or conserve. It's kind of like, I went to Hawaii, I guess some of you know that I was in Hawaii. And one of the things that I saw right before I left at the airport, it's a picture of the Hawaiian Islands, this old, you know, open space. It says, being surrounded by water doesn't mean we have a lot of it.
Right, yeah.
It says, please treat every drop of fresh water like a gift. So that's what we need to do, is to get people to understand, you know, protect it, take care of it. You know, it's a gift, it's something that you need to take care of, be wise how you use it.
Well, it's just like when it's raining and I see sprinklers going on. And we're like,
On the irrigation, are they told when they could irrigate?
Yes.
Like only Monday or only?
It's the same schedule
It's the
that.
same
It's the
schedule.
same schedule based on your
Odd
address.
on the street.
Odd and-
Even on your
Every
address.
day you see them the same?
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, even, Fridays even, yeah.
And it is an enforcement issue, but I think we're up to, what, 2 inspectors right now?
Well, we only have 2, but we're gonna hire a third, so we have 3 for the entire city. Well, technically 2, with the hopes of adding more.
Well, see, that's another thing too. We could say, hey, we catch a sprinkler on a Tuesday on, let us know, and you'll be entered a raffle or something. I mean, have the community.
Raffle?
Report.
No, like,
Oh, wait, when are we gonna raffle?
I love Laredo teachers.
I know you're laughing, but you're laughing inspectors. If I'm driving on a Tuesday, see a sprinkler, it's like, hey, you know what, there's that, where I could, and they're gonna turn, who got a free pizza, whatever, but it's helping you get information.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea, it's kind of like with those crime numbers.
Crime stoppers, yeah.
We'll call it leak stoppers or
Yeah.
waste stoppers, something like that.
Water wasters.
If you see a water break, let us know. You know,
I
and
do that too, you know, I drove by.
I do it all the time, but I'm saying,
Like,
that's us who work here.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't know.
yeah.
So every time they hit you, I go call 311, call 311. They don't know that. But if we make it a promotion where like, hey, Tuesdays on the dirt, so you find some business, let us know.
Yeah, it's like also, I remember if you see runoff, call us or something like that, because you got neighbors with sprinklers and they're watering the road.
Yeah.
They don't even pay
The
attention. to
schools
the
are
sprinkler.
notorious for overwatering
Yeah.
their stuff, and,
Yeah.
you know, it's always, like Troutman Middle, always has.
So in Hernatorres, that's where I would send the inspectors first.
We do, once we get the calls and we see it, we send them back. We try to educate them. But
But
that's
also, who's also regulating the inspections on the irrigation? I don't think there's no one really, because sometimes I'm like, what? This is too much. Even for little houses, it's like, no, you gotta have so much space to get irrigation. Why am I gonna approve an irrigation system for less than 200 square feet? You could just go out there and water it yourself. So also, it's an idea, it's like, why are we getting permits for places that don't need it? I mean, I understand if you have a big, huge area, it's hard, okay. But it's such a small, go by Lomas, irrigation, I'm like, but it's a little small lawn. Why do they have irrigation? They have like 10 heads for a little lawn.
No,
Well, because
okay, so
those
you're
would-
talking about two.
No, yeah, but
You're
I'm
talking
just
about
like-
irrigation meter or irrigating on the water they're buying out of the water. There's two types of meters in town.
Well, but you see, you want irrigation meter, and most people.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about irrigation for a small resident house.
I know, but the reason people go with the irrigation is because that's not gonna charge you sewer when you water it, even if
Right.
it's small. You use your regular, tap water that, that's gonna get to your house to water your small piece,
Mhm.
I'm charging you sewer. And it gets very expensive.
Very expensive.
So even if it's small, they're saving money in the long run by having an irrigation meter because we're not charging sewer and everything else that goes with it. That's why we have irrigation meters. Well, that's why some people have irrigation meters, because if not, as it is, you pay a lot for our rates are,
Now I got you.
lower, but, you're still gonna pay for sewer when you shouldn't.
Are you
Also,
putting on there
are you also
irrigation?
giving out
Huh?
irrigation? Can you still get an irrigation meter? I didn't think
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Well, in
They're
Delta-
pricier,
Yeah,
but you can.
But I think stage 3, we don't issue them, right?
I have no clue.
I think, we need to check the ordinance, but I think there is a stage where we won't issue irrigation.
So regular domestic, you charge different from an irrigation.
Mhm.
Well, yeah,
Even though,
because,
even though you're tapping into the same water source.
well, in a residential one, we're gonna charge you the water, the sewer, the solid waste. You have all the bulk of the environmental, everything, right? But the irrigation only charges you water and then that $1 for water availability. That extra $1 that everybody gets charged.
No,
for,
you're
depending on the site.
not cleaning that water. All the water that we flush, sink, shower, whatever you do that goes into the drainage system has to be clean.
But
Irrigation does.
I understand what.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But irrigation meters in the new ordinance, I want to be able to have a tiered structure depending on the stage that we're at.
Yeah.
So when we're in stage 3, it's gonna cost you more.
I'm just saying that just sucks. You're saving money, but then you were talking about waste. And you see those meter heads not working, or they'll, so that's what I'm saying. Okay.
It's a big issue.
It's a double-edged sword because we want people to use
Yes.
water, because we need the revenues to maintain operations, but at the same time, well, then we're running out of water.
So another thing, like I've said before, no one's doing inspections on meters once a year. I mean, on backflows. When they go to the backflows, they can see the issues that are happening. So that's one thing I kept saying, that I don't think we have that. Even though the other guy said we have a program, like, I don't think so.
We do have a backflow program, but it all goes back to, we don't have enough staff.
No, I know.
There's never enough staff to do
Well, you
everything that
got-
needs.
But
to be
I've
done.
always said you could always hire outside.
You've got backflow inspectors, which is called home inspectors for the real estate industry. You can't get a house past inspection that doesn't have on the spigots, the flow back. They check that, but they don't check that on the main line. But all the water faucets must have a flow back, and they're a couple of dollars worth there.
I think it's once a year that they check all the backflows. So when you go do the inspections, you start seeing other issues.
Yeah,
That's what happened in Corpus, when no one was checking their backflows.
yeah, yeah.
And some guy connected it illegally to the wrong line.
Anything else on water conservation?
All righty, topic for our next meeting.
I know from the last, we had the different topics that we were gonna discuss, I think.
Yeah, I had asked for the last meeting, this list that's on here, like, we could almost just,
Like, switch to the next item?
yeah, like, just create a list. It's more it's just a check-in. Maybe the report is, there's nothing to report, but at least it's there, so that we don't forget, So like we talked about,
I think what I'll do on the next one, why don't we since we're having that workshop on secondary water source, why don't we discuss that for the next, and that way, if we have the workshop.
Talking about work, we had a workshop when Ria was here, and for, is it the Water Museum or something? It's got bleachers in it.
Yeah.
We had a big meeting there, and we had people from other town there, we were talking about secondary, that's been a few years ago. But that's a good place to meet.
That was last year.
No,
We've had some. we
Yeah,
had
the guys
some-
from
well,
San
last year we
Antonio
did. Well, Nick Benavides was still here, so when was that, last year?
It was
Last
last
year at the beginning.
Yeah, the same area.
no, well, I mean, I didn't go to that one, but I'm
That's a
talking
good
about,
one.
this was before COVID.
The one, oh, no, this, we've had some since
Yeah.
then, where
Yeah.
the previous director,
Yeah,
he
Tomas.
spoke as well. And then I think we even had Jeff Havey, I think it was Happy Havey or something from SAW, he came down. That was in November of 22, November of
Mhm.
22. He-
That's
Sounds about right.
That's the one.
That's the one I'm talking about. But that's what I'm saying on this partnership, somebody's gonna, we're taking the lead basically. And they'll come down, they'll spend the night or whatever here to go to a meeting and present all these things. And a workshop there would be a positive thing to.
I think we'll start maybe, I think being that this coming summer, we're getting ready to be in stage 3, I need to focus on the conservation. and-
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, what you can do. And we can maybe have a workshop on that. And being that we have Sheila on board.
Yep. She needs something to do.
That'll be one of our tasks, okay. That's a good idea, we'll have a, but on the next one, like we have,
If I may,
yes, sir.
Mr. Garcia, we're still on the topic for the next meeting?
Yes,
All right, I don't know what I'm going to share with the committee right now is necessarily exclusive to the next meeting, but let me see. I think I should have used this in communications, but anyway. I would like to suggest inviting Mexican Bordertown leadership to water conservation workshop or a city council meeting so they can have an understanding of what we are doing. All right? And because in regards to populace, Mexican border towns outnumber Texas border towns 2.5 to 3 to 1. So they use a lot more water than we do. And I know that they have rights to use the water that's in the Rio Grande because that's, I believe there are placards or plaques in each of the dams, Falcon Dam and Amistad Dam, stating such. However, they have many more people than we do here in Del Rio, Eagle Pass, and Laredo, and in the valley, except in the valley, excuse me. But I was just wanted to suggest that we could invite these leaders so they can see that we are being trendsetters when it comes to water conservation.
yes.
I yield.
And I think our next meeting is gonna be the week of the Washington trip, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
So we might have to move
Move that
that.
meeting to April?
So if we move to the April meeting, then maybe the next meeting, we can get an update on the Washington trip, you know?
Oh, yeah, that would be one. Yes, sir. Our legislative effort.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll have to maybe tweak the date because I think April 11th would be, we do the second Thursday of the month, right?
yes, ma'am.
And we're gonna be
Yeah,
in
the
Texas
conference.
Water on April 11th. We're gonna be out the 9th through the 12th.
So then maybe we tweak between a March and
Yeah,
April meeting?
We could do that. We could maybe do the last week of March maybe
Yeah.
instead, so that it's not like spring break
Sure.
type, but then maybe it's, because since we're not gonna have
There's always
one.
something
There's always
with
gonna be
Right,
something.
because there's not something, we could maybe shoot for maybe March the 28th, maybe? That's the last Thursday of March, since obviously we can't do it on the,
Yes,
Second
on the
that's a good-
second week, we could do it on the 28th, and then we could either forego April or have it you know, in May.
We'll play it by ear to see if we
Yeah, I
have.
think we
Yeah,
by
because
ear.
we can-
We'll canvass everybody and see, but we'll target for the 28th, and then canvass everybody for something in April, if we can.
Yep,
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
So then whatever that meeting would be, we just, get an update on the Washington trip, legislative trip.
Anybody else?
I just wanna, you know.
Yeah, I was looking at the
Yeah,
list
I
there,
just
I
wanna
forgot
sort of
about it.
touch base on,
Yeah.
like we talked about the water partnership and the secondary water source, we'll get I understand that you're still working on that, through that workshop, which is good. Are there any updates on the master plan, the water and wastewater master plan?
Well, the wastewater pretty much is complete, it's just, I know they need to just publish it and get it out, so, and then present it, but I've already asked the consultant to go ahead and publish it, so I can start putting it up on the website. So,
And the water one?
the water one's out, the only thing, it says draft, but they just need to remove the word draft on it, because that's the final ballot.
On the PSA, we talked to Nona and get with our city council and the committee where we could do a video of each district. So I could get with Gilbert and we do a video of the PSAs to help out. I'm honest from this district, I'm better from this district, and we're here to tell you, you know, please conserve or stuff like that.
Report your neighbor.
That's your neighbor, oh my God, come on.
This story around the
It's not me, it's my husband.
You guys have to be like Pablo Escobar, you got
Husband.
eyes everywhere.
You know what, I'm always at work, it's my husband.
So instead of snitches, get stitches from 1980?
Because back in 1980.
Now it's gonna be snitches, get riches? You get compensated for, blowing.
Well, you know, maybe, but we might not know that way, because everybody's gonna be like, the phone line, you know?
So now it's gonna be snitches.
You know, so you're promoting through.
Just an idea.
Have you tried to get through it, 311?
Always call 311.
Your call is anonymous.
You call it
I see
091.
garbage thrown on the side, I see a leak, I always call 311. Now, if they do something with it, that's something else.
But, I mean, when you were talking about checking all these things, and I'm a touchy kind of person.
Touch back, it is anything?
No, and where, you have inspectors, can you imagine how many calls you're gonna get and you have 2 inspectors? So the population of the town has to do the job. And if you got one that's running water down the road all day and all night, that's the one to call about. If you got a little overspray, because people don't understand about overspray, the wind takes it where it wants it, especially sprinklers that, that don't have a hard stream. But, those are the things that we need to sit down.
And we can show a video about that. This is what we're looking for.
Yeah, with Norada and say, check your heads on.
Or maybe you could do like a little, take the PIO with you, and then she could take turns, where you drive down, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
each one will have it for their district.
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly.
But actually physically go where you could drive and say, oh, look, you see how this,
Yeah.
So,
See, I irrigate between 1 and 5, so it's not like I'm watching a sprinkler, but once in a while I turn them on.
I mean, it's the ones you drive, you're like, let me not.
Yeah.
Like, it gets your attention, like, especially down in Pearson in front of the doctor's hospitals.
Yeah, well, no one gets me when it's raining. All right, anything else?
All
We'll-
irrigation
The Superior-
systems have a timer, like that smart,
Some do, some don't.
smart
They have the sensors, some have the rain
control or
sensors.
something.
Some have sensors for rain, but sometimes the problem is maintenance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Meetings with.
my long guy has a way of weed whacking the heads off and.
yes.
Go by and see how much our RPVs are just leaking and no one's fixing them. I mean, right there, and they don't fix them, you're like, this is the reason that you need to get this fixed, because then you can start getting chemicals into your water.
What's the
Well-
progress on the Superior Water Quality designation?
We should be hearing something soon before the end of the month. So, I hope to unveil something soon.
it's a surprise.
And then,
Hopefully a good one.
just one last thing, on the rate study,
Yeah.
so I guess we're talking and I'm listening and, because you sort of have water conservation, but then you need to make money, right? So that's the scale.
See, I need to make money, she needs to conserve,
Yes,
so we're
okay.
opposites
So-
here.
But see, y'all need to be best friends, then,
Yeah,
right?
we're friends, we're just not on the same page.
But it seems like there's gotta be like that happy balance, right? Like, how much someone is willing to pay versus how much we need to save.
Right, and that's where the tiered structure, rate structure, depending on what stage you're in, is ideal. Because people wanna save their landscaping, somebody that has tropical plants, okay, they're gonna make that investment, because they invested in that landscape.
Right.
So, say, yeah, you can, but it's gonna cost you.
Exactly, so I guess is that being worked on in the ordinance?
That's what I wanna do in the ordinance, yes.
Was it New Mexico, was it, it's called the Zero Scape?
Yes.
Zero Scape, nothing but rocks.
That's,
That's why we answer the court.
Vegas,
I'm gonna catch you some.
95% of the yards,
Zero escape.
Yeah.
My house is on zero escape with
Like in
regular
Manly.
plants, the cactus and stuff like that.
Or we go to.
Smart controller rebate.
no, and having them turn in maintenance reports on their
But
system.
really, it's a hole in the ground, because you water it, pay for it, then you fertilize it, and then you cut
Oh, I do have another
it.
machine.
Yes, it's never ending.
I can't.
So,
So, you're gonna adjourn the meeting?
if we're ready.
Are we
Everybody else, we
ready?
done?
Yeah,
I'm done.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
second.
Motion and second, all's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh.